Well, hello there. A while back, you guys may have seen my dad posted a video announcing a giveaway for reaching 1 million views. And at the beginning of that, you saw me doing some crazy things with a grinder and a hammer, I think. And then somehow it turned into a spoon ring. So I decided I would give you an actual video on how I make them. And I waited a little bit to give me a little bit more experience. I've made 15 to 20 of them so far, so I've got a lot more experience than I would have if I would have made it that day. And I'm kind of glad I waited because my initial methods were pretty ghetto compared to the methods I use now. So come along for the journey. I actually have multiple ways to do it, so might make a few videos out of this because there are different styles and stuff like that you can make using different utensils and stuff. But come along for the journey. I'm going to make one today. I haven't quite decided which one yet. It's either going to be a twisty or one like this where it just like twists around. So either way, come along for the journey. You're invited. First, you need to pick your utensil. And today I'll be using this one. One of my friends ordered a ring using this fork here. First thing after you select your fork is to get your size. And you can use ring sizers here. This is the preferred method. You can use other ways, you can just measure it and stuff. But once you know that, you can get the diameter of this doohickey, multiply that by pi to get your circumference, in which is going to be how far or how long you need to make this. Okay, so we're gonna make the non-twisty way, and I'll show you a picture because I'm terrible at describing it. And first, after you've measured everything and stuff, you're gonna put it on an anvil. Hopefully you guys have an anvil. You're gonna take a rubber mallet so you don't damage the top, and you're just gonna try to bend this down sharply. And the reason why we do that now is because my next method, it's hard to get that fine, the tips to bend and stuff. So we're just gonna hit it. Still a little bit too much. Alright, we're gonna call that good. Hopefully it won't be terrible. So what I did here is, as you can see, just bend it down ever so slightly. Now you're gonna take chain link. This one's actually too big or too small. And this is one of the ghetto methods I use, but actually this is really effective. I haven't found a better way to do it yet. Okay, so now you're going to want to stick your spoon in here, like so. Again, this is a fork, not a spoon. I keep forgetting. And I'm going to do it this way so I'm out of the camera. And you're just going to kind of bend, like so. And you don't want to put any creases in it, so try to be careful here. Be wary and be careful. Be careful that when you're bending and stuff like that, your mark doesn't come off. So just keep an eye on that. Mine should be good because I know about where it is, because I was gauging it off of the little detail there. When you do this, you're going to want to pull, like do more of a pulling action here. That'll get you more of a gentler curvature. So instead of just right there pushing, you're going to kind of pull it this way, and so you're almost trying to form it yourself per se, just using this as a leverage point. My apologies if you cannot see. If you can't see, just move. Making these rings is really, really stress relieving and relaxing. It's a lot of fun.
I'm so glad to share it with you guys.
You see clearly now, my arms are gone. So you want to postpone cutting until you're done bending, so that way you have more leverage and stuff to work with. And as you can see here, I'm starting to get off track a little bit. It's not quite straight there. That's my B. It's really hard to get that perfect. So if you have CDO, or OCD for those of you that don't have it, it's going to be really hard to appease yourself. Okay, so next step is to cut it, and I used a Dremel with your slicing tool here. That's the easiest way. You can do it other ways, but I found that this is easiest for me. And when you're doing this, be careful. Don't do it when you're tired and stupid like I did. I ruined a really good pair of jeans by doing that. So, yeah. Right, so I'm gonna wear some protective overalls here. My man apron. Right, so I don't know what metal this is, but oh dude, it cuts really nicely. Some of the other metal, it took a long time to cut, and it shot a lot of sparks in my face. And I don't know what it is, but this is nice and soft. So take this out and save this here piece. You can make 2 rings out of this, and a necklace if you please. Once you're back to here, it is back to the old, where'd it go, chain link method. Alright, so this reminds me of one reason I love doing these rings, is you never have one that is exactly the same, and everything goes not as planned. So I almost messed up, and I almost bent this down back this way before filing it. And you want to file it before you can't get any files in there. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to take our files. This should be good. Might need more. And a file away. Okay, so grab a file, guys. I'm going to use a relatively fine file because this is a pretty soft metal. And I'm just going to file away. I'll file away, oh glory, I'll file away.
In the morning.
Okay, so after filing, you go back to the chain link and finish your bending. And you'll notice that it's much harder to make any sort of bending because you've lost all your leverage since you've cut it. Should be able to do a little bit. If you can't do it at all, then you have to go to the mandrel. So you have your mandrel here. Make sure you get, if you get one, an iron or a steel mandrel, something that's hard and it's not going to be torn up. You can see, even with mine, it was labeled as a hardened steel, I think. It is, it's still marred up a little bit. But that was when I was using my ghetto methods of just using this thing, which is a bad idea. So, what you want to do is find the size of it. It's huge, this is 15. I want it down to an 8.5, so I have a lot of ways to go. But you want to do about like a size to 2 under what it is, and then just take your mandrel here and just do some taps. And see how mine is a little bit crooked? So I'm going to do some taps to try to fix that. However, I'm not that experienced, so it's going to be hard for me to do that. I'll try. Or you can resort to pliers. These are a pair that I hacked the tips off so they wouldn't mar the ring as much. Keyword is much. Still mars it a little bit. These are just normal needle nose. I'm going to try to move these this way. See, that worked. With a little bit of marring there, but not too much. Back at the mandrel. A couple sizes too small. And continue to beat. And this is what makes this style of ring much harder to make than just the twisty method. The twisty method, you stick it in the mandrel, you clamp it, and you just go around. And I'll make a video showing that. You don't have to worry about making oblong, irregular shapes like my first one like this. It's much easier to make. There's less hitting involved with the other styles. Okay, this one is almost done. My only complaint, A, it is a little bit too big. B, this is sticking up, and that's going to be hard unless I heat treat this, heat it up, and then clamp it, and then stick it in water so it stays after heating. Unless I do that, it's going to be really hard to bend that edge without bending this out. Bend this edge without bending that out. And I do not want to heat treat it because every metal reacts differently. You can have metal that looks like this, where it's nasty looking, which I like. You can have metal that looks like this, which is nasty in the sense that I do not like this. Ugh, it's puking mouth, man. Or you can have a metal that turns out like this, which is absolutely lovely. And for this ring, I really want this one to turn out nice and shiny. I don't want it to be brass colored or darkened or anything. So this is going to be an engineering feat. This will be a first time. I'm going to try to use this. See if I can bend that down without bending the top down. Okay, so that is the beating process. Now what you want to do is whip out your Dremel utensils, aka bits. Right, so you want a fine grit grinding stone. And you're just going to touch up the edge that you filed there, because I missed the spot. Once you're done touching up all the rough edges, you're going to grab your bits again and the Dremel. You're going to put your wire brush bit and the Dremel, and you're going to brush it. And this is when magic occurs. Okay, and you have a semi-complete project. The next step after this is, if you have a polishing rag, to polish that up. If not, and also if you can take, since this is silver plate, you can take some silver tarnish remover and it will shine like a mirror. But that is how I make, in this case, a fork ring, non-twisted. Thanks for watching. This is Beachhead, out. Look at my Kim Kardashian fingers. That's from my the ring that I made. I call this one Anger because when I made it out of a butter knife handle, and I just beat the living snot out of it with a 3-pound hammer. And I tried doing some Damascus stuff, where like just doing the layers, but then realized and remembered that Damascus involves a lot of skill, and Beachhead does not have any skill, so promptly stopped that one. Plus I was making sharp edges and stuff like that with the layers because they weren't fusing together with metal, and I cut myself twice with that. So I bend in the Damascus style and just continue to beat the crap out of it. Bend it using the technique I showed you today, and then heat treated it so it's extra hard and it looks like that nice rugged nasty metal, so I like it, but it's bleeding on me, so I have to clean that off. Anyway, yeah, keep beating.
Just beat it!